Good morning. I'm Dr. Gregg Pizzi, psychologist, relationship specialist, and board certified sex therapist. It's Tuesday, August 18th, 2020 at 9:19 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'm speaking to you live from Miami, Florida. Welcome to my livecast. This is my 7th episode of the PizziPSYC LIVECAST, which is also featured on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for you to view afterward for your education and pleasure. And again, I give you a big welcome, and I welcome your questions and comments about anything that I discuss, about anything that's going on in your life, about anything that's happening in your relationships, and anything that's important to you. I fully believe that we attract that which we want into our lives, and often by speaking about it and giving it its due attention, we can create more of it and allow it to flow into our lives. One of the biggest things that I think we as human beings do to shoot ourselves in the foot with regard to our own happiness and well-being is that we kind of get in our own way and we talk about things that we don't want. We give attention to that which is bothering us rather than focusing on that which we want, and that makes it really hard for what we desire to manifest itself in our lives. So I believe that it's really important to talk about, think about, write about, tweet about, whatever it is, post about, and bring up and celebrate that which is most important to you. And whatever is important to you is important to me. So I welcome your questions and comments. Please follow my page here on Facebook. Please subscribe to me on YouTube at PizziPSYC, the same name as this channel on Facebook. And again, welcome and thank you for your support. So, today's highlights in the program. This, as I said, is my 7th live stream. It occurs Tuesday and Thursday mornings. I'm going to feature a news item, a quote for you guys. Then our feature today will be why everything changes when you're on a date and you ask the person, tell me about yourself. Why everything changes and why that can be a big mistake depending on where your mindset is. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and you're free to submit any question you have about sex, dating, and relationships by writing them in the comments below. And I'm going to put the question card up right now. I'm opening it so that the question card should now be coming up. Feel free to answer, and I will do my best to get to your questions. So after the feature item of that huge dating mistake of asking the person to tell you about him or herself, we're going to talk about a relationship tip. I have a relationship tip for you today and a free gift. I'll tell you about it in a few minutes. So stay tuned, and I will tell you how to get your free gift. It's part of my relationship portion of today's episode. And I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. So stay tuned for your relationship tip and free gift. Then, of course, no session would be complete without a gratitude moment and then an affirmation. So please like my page and follow me on YouTube at PizziPSYC, the same name as this channel. As a psychologist and a relationship specialist, it's become very clear to me that one of the ways that we become our true selves and reach our maximum potential as human beings is through our relationships, because human beings are social beings. We need each other in order to thrive. Why do we need each other in order to thrive? Because humans are pack animals, kind of like dogs in a way. But in some ways, we're smarter than dogs. In other ways, we're dumber than dogs. And that's because we think too much. But we need our fellow brothers and sisters. No one can live in a vacuum. As much as our society promotes nowadays independence, autonomy, the reality is that no matter what, we cannot be alone. we will not survive on our own. No human being can survive, at least not for an extended period of time, and definitely not thrive without the support and help of other human beings. So that's one of the reasons it's so important that we improve our relationships, that we try to be better at including people in our lives. It's the key to satisfaction and the key to fulfillment, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons I became a sex and relationship therapist. One of the things I have found that I love to do is to help people feel less lonely and more connected in a world that is becoming increasingly complex. With all our technology and everything that's going on and so much information, it's hard to disconnect from the electronic media and really become present. And one of the things I love to do in my work with patients, in my private sessions, is to help people feel more connected and fulfilled. This is my passion as a psychologist, relationship therapist, and sex therapist. I help people live the life that they want today, because there's only a today. Tomorrow and the past are just concepts. They don't really exist. As my beautiful dear friend Jessica states and shares with us this morning, human interaction is so important. Thank you, Jessica. I love you. Thank you so much for all your support, for always being there for me. You are truly my fan and my friend. Thank you. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your actions. Thank you for always being there. This is a person. Jessica, my dear friend Jessica, is a person who knows about the importance of connection. And she is such a beautiful, selfless example of that. Thank you again, Jessica. And please continue to like, follow, and share. I know I can rely on you. Anyway, anybody else who has a comment, please put it below. We're going to be moving on because I feel like my introduction is dragging a little bit today. In the news, Gary V, or Gary Vaynerchuk, some of you may know him as Gary V on Instagram, on YouTube. He's a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and a life and business coach. He said something yesterday that floored me. It floored me because not only is it right, but it helped me realize that this is one of the reasons I feel so good most of the time. And I've noticed that I don't tend to complain. I don't bitch and complain and moan. I mean, I think we all have our days and moments, but for the most part, I'm pretty at peace with myself, and I find the ability to kind of get through things. And what he said is, this is what he said, and I quote Gary V, "The reason I am so happy is that I blame myself for everything. The reason I am so happy is that I blame myself for everything." What does this quote mean to you? I'd love to hear your reaction, because it's, unless you really listen to it, it sounds a little weird, but the way I understand his quote is that once I accept that I am responsible for everything that happens in my life, my work is done. I have it made. It completely removes the victimhood attitude. It makes me realize that I have the power and control over every moment, how I feel, what I do, who's around me, what my experience is. If I blame myself for everything that happens to me, in other words, I don't say it was somebody else's fault, or is because of the weather, because of the traffic, or because of my boss. If I realize that I am fully responsible for the experiences that I have, I don't have to, my problems are solved, because I am my only problem. It's my choice who I interact with, what I do, where I go, when I do it. So I really believe that we always have the ability to decide our lives and our experiences. And whatever problems I may be experiencing, I take ownership of it. I don't beat myself up or blame myself so that I feel bad about it. But I know that I had a major say in it, and that if I don't like it, I can change it. So not only do I not have to become a victim with that thinking pattern, but I also have the solace that I can do it all over again the next day. I can change it anytime. So relax and be happy knowing that you are at the steering wheel of your own life. This is the new thought that I want to share with you guys today. The reason I am so happy is that I blame myself for everything. I'm Dr. Gregg Pizzi, psychologist, relationship specialist, and board-certified sex therapist. Please follow me here on Facebook and on my YouTube channel by the same name, PizziPSYC. Thank you, and I do appreciate all of your support. Moving on to our feature for today. The feature topic is why everything changes when you ask the person you're on a date, tell me about yourself. So, of course, it is... Hi, Leaner. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Oh, my God. That was the sermon in your church? Wow. Okay. I guess I must be doing pretty good if I'm lining up with your pastor's message. Thank you so much. I hope you're well and your family is healthy. So why do couples do this? Now, it's common when you go out on a date to say to the person, something, maybe talk about yourself, maybe ask them questions. But one of the things that couples get their first disappointment or rude awakening is when they ask themselves the question on their first date, so tell me about yourself. Okay, so the reason for all this connects to the issue that I just talked about, which is that we are responsible for everything that happens in our life. The reason Gary V said he's so happy is that he blames himself for everything, right? So by blaming yourself for everything, again, it doesn't mean beat up on yourself and hate yourself and torture yourself. It just means recognize that you have control over everything that goes through your mind, through your heart, and through your body. You are in complete control. So, when you're on a date, there's obviously something you like about this person. Something attracts you to them. Focus on that. Interact with that. Interact with the part of you that you know about them that you love. Don't ask for other data. You don't need any other information at that point because you're feeling great. You're having a good time. How many times have you, I don't know, maybe met somebody new, or maybe you're watching a TV show and then maybe you're reading a book. I think we've all gone through this. Maybe you're reading a book and you love the story. You're so into it and you're in love with the character and you just can't put this book down. And then somebody says, oh, there's a TV show for the movie, or there's a movie version of the book. And then you go and you watch it on the movie and you're like, oh, he looks like that? Or, oh my God, I didn't think he looked like that. Oh, I don't like him. And then your feelings are totally blown out of the water because you had this image in your mind. You were enjoying this person so much until you found out this other piece of data that was totally irrelevant, right? Like what they look like. So when you're sitting there and you're on a date or you're having a great conversation with somebody, you're feeling wonderful because you're attracted to something that you enjoy about this person. You're feeling good about yourself. So talk about what you love. Talk about what you're attracted to about this person. Flesh out more of that. But, of course, this is a kind of tongue-in-cheek example that I'm giving you. Of course, there's nothing bad about asking somebody to talk or to hear more about them, but very frequently couples will kind of lose that spark once they start to talk about the extraneous details, okay? So you're sitting with this person, you're having the night of your life. They're so beautiful in your eyes. They look amazing in the moonlight. And you are just connecting with so many things that you see in them. Why turn to a topic that's going to throw you off? Why say, so tell me about your mother? Or why are you going to say, tell me about your past relationships? Or why are you going to say, so I'm really having such a good time right now and I'm enjoying this topic. So why don't we talk about something else? You're not going to do that. And you know why it's important not to do that? Because at the beginning, the point is to enjoy each other's company and to bond and connect. All those extraneous details can be dealt with later. And there's plenty of time for reality and details and yucky stuff. Just don't take yourself out of that bliss and continue to enjoy where you're at. That's what that's about. If you have any questions about this or comments or thoughts about this idea of don't ruin it by asking the person you're on a date with to tell you about themselves. And similarly, nobody really wants to hear you talk about yourself either. We all love to talk and to be heard. But what makes us feel so good when we're meeting someone for the first time that we like is that connection, that sense of attention. And, feeling loved and liked just for who you are in the moment. Sometimes words aren't even necessary. Words often destroy a moment unnecessarily. So thank you for listening to this idea. I welcome your thoughts about it. So let me know what you think, okay? Moving on. Now, we're going to go to the sex and relationship tip. What is going to be the sex and relationship tip for today? I would like to share with you guys my free relationship report card. This relationship report card goes through all the important aspects of a relationship and allows you to rate them on a rating scale, just as if you were in school, or if you are in a new relationship or maybe a long-term relationship. Grade your relationship. And then after you complete your relationship report card, you send it back to me and I will score it for you for free. So I would like to offer you my free relationship report card that can be used for any relationship, whether it's a long-term or a new relationship. I will send it to you and you send it back to me and I will score it for free. The way to get your free relationship report card is to go to my website, which I'll put it on the screen right now. It's www.PizziPSYC.com. That's www.PizziPSYC.com. If you go to my website, as soon as you come to the homepage, you'll see a blue button at the bottom right of the screen. On the bottom corner, it says Message Us. Use that button to send me your email address for your free gift of the relationship report card. And I'll give you more details in there. So I'm excited to share this with all of you guys. Coming back to our question of the day. Lena asks, how can we spark meaningful conversation on a date, with someone we've been with? How can we spark meaningful conversation on a date with someone we have been with? Okay, so I guess when you say someone we have been with, I'm assuming that you mean, someone you already know, that you already have history with, you've already kind of got that momentum going, and you want to spark up a meaningful conversation when you're on a date, right? Like, I think that's what you mean, like, get out of the rut, talk about something meaningful rather than the regular run-of-the-mill routine stuff. Well, okay, so the best way to do that is it's got to start with you. you have to think about what it is that's important to you, Lena. What is it that sparks you? And you talk about that. You talk about the things that spark in yourself. You talk about your dreams. You talk about what you love about this person. Because as I said in a previous episode, even when we're with somebody that spark is kind of dying out. All relationships have ups and downs. Sometimes the fire is not raging as wildly as others, and that's normal. But when that fire is starting to dim, there's always embers that are still sparked. When you look in a fire or a fireplace, it looks like it's out, but if you look really good, there's always one or two that are still going. Well, that's why you don't want to leave a fireplace alone. Like you guys all know that Smokey the Bear taught us that lesson when we were all little kids. But there's always something there that's sparking. Zero in on that. For every annoying thing about the person, or every complaint that you have about this person that you're with, or for every boring trait that they have, there's usually 5 things that you love about them. What you want to do is you want to focus in on the things you love about the person, the things that already spark you about them. You want to milk those, okay? When we're in a relationship, we want to milk. We want to really shake up and focus in and zero in on those things that work. Okay? So you want to say, hey, think about that time that you guys went and had an amazing time, and say, hey, I'd really love to go to this place again. Why don't we do it again? Or, have I told you lately that one of the things that made me fall in love with you was your eyes? And now that we're sitting here together at our usual place where we've been for the last 100 years, I'm looking at your eyes and I'm still in love with them. But you've got to have the guts to do it. You can't be afraid of rejection. You can't be afraid of sounding corny. And often in relationships, including marriages of years, there's fear of rejection. There's fear of judgment. You're not going to be able to move past that sticking point until you can have the guts to risk the rejection or a weird look or a weird comment that you might get to the person. The person might say to you, what's wrong with you? What are you talking about? Why are you being so corny? Then you just you don't react bad. You have to understand they're not used to it. And they're probably thinking the same thing you are, of the fear of rejection. Just grab their hand gently and say, I know it is corny because we're not used to it, but I really mean it. And once you guys get back into that groove, you can do that. You better take my advice, Lena, okay? Because I'm taking up a lot of time for your questions. And I know you're going to take my advice, but you deserve it. You deserve that. And I know you can do it. You have an amazing personality, and you're very bright and caring, and let that shine. Let that shine. Don't hide it under a rock. Okay. So let me know how it goes. Okay, Lena? Thank you. All right, guys, moving on. Thank you, Lena, for your question. Moving from the topic of the day again, now on to the gratitude moment. This is my gratitude moment of the day. I'm grateful for the ability to learn from my mistakes. When things don't go the way I want them to, there's always an opportunity for something even better. I'm grateful for the ability to learn from my mistakes. When things don't go the way I want them to, there's always an opportunity for something even better. On our next session, on our next episode, which will be this Thursday at 9 a.m., I'm going to talk about the 3 truths of a happy life and relationship. The 3 truths of a happy life and relationship. So tune in on Thursday at 9 a.m. for my next live cast to talk about those 3 truths. And I'm not going to tell you what they are until then, but I will give you a hint. Living these 3 truths guarantees you the most fulfilling, enjoyable, and exciting life possible. You deserve to be happy and to make the best of this life that we have, this beautiful, abundant life. Okay. Our affirmation moment has come before we end our episode, and that is the affirmation I want to share with you, and I encourage you to write it down and repeat it and practice it daily. I can be myself at all times. I can be myself at all times. Thank you again for your support, everyone. I wish you a wonderful day, a happy Tuesday. I'm Dr. Gregg Pizzi, psychologist, relationship specialist, and board-certified sex therapist from Miami, Florida. Eddie, I was wondering where you were. Okay, great. Good to see you. Good to see that you're there. You're in Costa Rica. Buen viaje, que te vaya bien. Cuídate mucho. And thank you so much for checking in. You know, I'm always thinking of you, and I appreciate you. And Lena as well. I'll see you guys on Thursday. And thank you for all of your support. Follow me on YouTube, PizziPSYC. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.